Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be explaining AWS WAF, that is Web Application Firewall, and AWS Shield, two powerful services from Amazon Web Services that help protect your application from common web threats and a DDoS attack. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how these tools work and how they can be integrated with our application for enhanced security. So in this video, I'll be covering all these topic, that is what is web application firewall and why we need and what are the key features, advantages, and how the WAF will work. And also we can understand AWS Shield, why we need Shield features, advantages, and how the AWS Shield will work and comparison and integration. And at the last, I'll show the practical session of the WAF and Shield also. Um, I'll show the configuration, that's all, but I'm not going to create anything because it charges the cost. That's why. So let's move. So, what is AWS WAF? AWS WAF is a cloud-based security service that help protect web application from common web threats and vulnerability such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and DDoS attack. So AWS WAP is a tool offered by AWS to secure your web application, and it's a cloud-based. It's operate over the internet and does not require any hardware installation, and it protects your application from web threats like malicious activities like SQL injection means a attacker try to manipulate your database by inserting harmful SQL commands. Cross-site scripting, an attacker injects harmful scripting into your website affecting users. DDoS attack, an attempt to overwhelm your application with excessive traffic, making it unavailable. And it also allow you to create rule to filter and block malicious traffic based on the specific patterns, IP addresses, geographic locations, or a rate of request. So you can define a rules to detect the stop harmful activities. These rules can be identify suspicious partner in incoming traffic, block traffics from specific IP addresses known for malicious behaviors, restrict access based on the geographical location, preventing traffic from certain regions, set limits on the rate of request, avoiding abuse from automated bots or attackers. So AWS WAF integrated seamlessly with AWS services like Amazon Cloud Phone, Application Load Balancer, API Gateway, providing flexible and customizable protection for your application. So it's worked well with other services, like already I have mentioned that. So it's integrated with so when it's come to its cloud font, a content delivery network that delivers your website's content to user. WAF can filter traffic at the edge before it reaches to your application. What the application load balancer does, manage traffic to your server, and WAF adds a layer of the security. API gateway secure your API by blocking harmful requests. The integration allow you to tailor security setting to meet your application specified needs. So let's understand why we need a WAF. So we need AWS WAF to safeguard web application from various security threats and vulnerability that cloud compress their functionalities, data, or user trust. So, applications are constantly exposed to online threats that could disrupt their operations, steal sensitive information, or harm user trust. So, WAF provide protection by detecting and migrating these threats before they impact your application. So, modern applications are often exposed to attacks like SQL injection, cross site scripting, DDoS, which can lead to data breaches, downtime, or unauthorized access. And AWS WAF acts as a protective shield, filtering and blocking malicious traffic based on the customized rule. So like a firewall for web application, inspecting traffic and stopping malicious requests before they reach the application. You can create customizable rules to detect specific attack pattern or behavior and blocking them. These ensure that only ligament traffic reaches your application, and it also enhances the application security by allowing you to control access based on IP addresses, request rate, or geographical locations. You can control who you can access your application by using specific criteria like IP address that allow or block your access from specific IP addresses. Request rates limit how many requests a user can make at a given time to prevent bots or DDoS attack, and the geographical location restrict access to user from certain countries or a region, enhancing local based security. So these level of control ensure that your applications remain secure, available, and reliable. So this is how the WAF will need for us. So let's understand the key features of AWS WAF. Customizable web security rules. So WAF allow you to create and customize rules to detect and block malicious traffic. Rule can be configured to identify specific attack patterns such as SQL injection or a cross-site scripting. Rule groups and managed rule. AWS offers pre-configured managed rules for common web threats, which are maintained and updated by AWS or a third-party security vendors. You can also group your rules in a rule groups for user management. IP blocking and allowing. You can allow block or count requests based on specific IP addresses or ranges, providing fine grained control over the incoming traffic. Rate based rules protect against bots or DDoS attack by setting limits on the number of requests allowed for single IP addresses over a given time. Traffic exceeding the threshold can be blocked or monitored. Geographical restrictions. Rules restrict access based on the geographic location of request, useful for applications targeting specific regions or blocking traffic from region with knowing malicious activity. So let's understand the AWS WAF advantages. So comprehensive web protection. So AWS WAF protects against common web vulnerability like SQL injections, cross-site scripting, and distributed denial of services attacks. For example, a retail website may face SQL injection attack where malicious user try to extract customer credit card detail from the database. By using AWS WAF, you can block these requests with a predefined SQL injection manage rule. Customizable rule. Create rule tailored to your application to filter traffic based on IP addresses, HTTP header query, strings, etc. If you, for example, if your application is only meant for user in a specific country, you can create a rule to block requests originating from the IP addresses outside the country. Manage rule for common threats. So use AWS manage rule or third party rule for known threats, saving time and ensuring continuous updates for protection. For example, a blog website might face spam bot attacks that post unwanted commands. Using AWS manage rule for bot control, you can identify and block these bots while allowing traffic. Scalable and flexible. AWS WAF scale automatically with your application to handle increase in a traffic without manual intervention. For example, an e-commerce site running a sales might experience traffic. AWS WAF scales to inspect to filter all incoming requests without affecting performance. So, real time traffic monitoring. So, provide real time visibility into traffic, including allowed, blocked, and a content requested, counted requested. So, for example, if a news website sees a spike in a block request, it might indicate a potential DDoS attack. Logs from AWS WAF can help the admin investigate and migrate the third party remotely. So these are the advantages of AWS WAF. So let's understand how AWS WAF will work. So AWS WAF attacks a filter that examine all the traffic coming to your web application and decide whether to allow, block or monitoring it based on the rules you set. Attach AWS WAF to your application. You connect AWS WAF to service like CloudFront, Load Balancer, or API Gateway. These ensure all incoming requests to your applications pass through AWS WAF first. Create a web access control list. A web access control list is like a checklist that contain role for deciding what traffic is allowed or blocked. Example, block requests from specific countries, limit requests from a single user if they send too many in a short time, allow only requests that matches certain patterns like valid header or a query pattern. AWS WAF check every request. It looks at the part of the incoming request such as IP addresses of the user, method of the request that is for example get and post method, a content of the request, it compares the request to the rule in the web access control list. Takes action. Based on the rules, AWS WAF does one of these things. Allow. If the request is safe, it's sent to the application. Block. If the request looks harmful, it stops the immediately. Count. Locks the request but does not block or allow it. So, real time monitoring. AWS WAF provides real time insights into what's happening. Track how many requests as allows or blocked. Helps identify suspicious partners like repeated failed login attempts or unusual traffic spikes. Stay updates against threats. You are use predefined rules called manage rule provided by AWS or other to protect against common threats like SQL injection and a bot attacks. These rules are updated automatically to handle new security risk. For example, let's say your websites get a lot of spam commands from bots. You can set a rule in a AWS WAF to block any request that sends more than 50 commands in a minute. So AWS WAF modify traffic in a real time and block bots, letting genius user continue using your website smoothly. So this is what all about AWS Web Application Firewall. So let's understand what is AWS Shield. So AWS Shield is managed distributed denial of services protection service provided by Amazon Web Services to safeguard application against malicious traffic designed to distribute operations. So AWS Shield refers to a service offered by AWS and managed means it take care of the service including setup, maintenance and management, so you don't need to configure it manually. DDoS protection attack it when attackers overlay a network or application with malicious traffic to maintain its unavailable. AWS Shield protects your applications and resources from such attacks, keeping them functional and secure. And it offers two tiers of protection, that is AWS Shield Standard, which is automatically enabled for all the AWS customer at no additional cost and protects against common DDoS attacks that the network and the transport layer, and the AWS Shield Advanced, a paid service that provides enhanced protection for more sophisticated and a large scale attacks. So when it's come to its Shield standard, this is the basic version that automatically comes with every AWS account at no extra cost. It protects against common DDoS attack that target the basic layer of the network and a transport. Shield Advanced, this is the more advanced paid services that provides additional protection for more complex and a large scale DDoS attack. Shield Advanced includes features like real-time attack visibility, 24/7 DDoS response time for migration assistance, financial protection against DDoS related cost spikes, and integration with AWS WAF for application layer defense. So real-time attacks visibility means with Shield Advance you can monitor and see what happening in a real time during an attack. allow you to respond more efficiently. And 24 bar 7 DDoS response times provides a team of experts available at any time to assist with migrating and handling DDoS attack. They help to minimize the impacts on your services. Financial protection against cost spins. Attacks can cause us in traffic, leading to higher AWS costs. Shield Advance protects you from these unexpected charges by covering the extra costs that arise due to attacks. And also integration with AWS WAF. Advance integrates with AWS WAF, which helps protect the application layer. AWS WAF filter malicious traffic before it reaches your application, blocking harmful requests and secure your web application. So let's understand why we need AWS Shield. We need AWS Shield because DDoS attacks are constant threats to availability and perform applications and services. So ongoing and happens at any time, making them a continuous security concern for business, especially those with the online or a cloud hosted services. So these attacks can be over in a network or application with massive traffic, causing downtime, distributing business operations, and damaging and organizing reputations. So AWS Shield helps protects applications hosted on AWS by offering real-time protecting against these attacks, ensuring continuous availability and minimize the risk of the service dispersions. So let's understand key features of AWS Shield. Automated DDoS protection. It's provide automated protection against common DDoS attack like SIM flood, UDP reflections, etc., without requiring manual intervention, ensuring the application remains protected at all the time. Two protection tiers that already I have told. One is AWS Shield Standard, another one is the Shield Advanced. So Shield Standards offers basics DDoS protection at no extra cost, and enhanced protection advanced for more sophisticated attacks, including application layer attacks. So 24 bar 7 access to DDoS response time. With Shield Advanced, user have to access AWS experts DDoS response time around the clock who provide assistance at mitigating complex DDoS attack and ensuring shift recovery. Real time attack visibility and metrics. Shield Advance offers real time visibility into ongoing attack, which detailed metrics and reports allow you to monitor the status of your application during an attack and take the necessary action. Application layer protection. In addition to the network and a transport layer protection, Shield Advance also provide protection at the application layer, which help define against more targeted or sophisticated attacks such as HTTP flood. So these are the key features of AWS Shield. So let's understand what are the advantages the AWS Shield has. So, comprehensive DDoS protection. AWS Shield provides comprehensive protection against a wide range of DDoS attack, including both simple and a complex one. Safeguarding applications and services from network transport and application layer attacks. Automation protection. So AWS Shield standard is automatically enabled for all AWS customers at no extra cost. These ensure that applications are protected against common DDoS attack without the need for the manual configuration or intervention, simplify security and management. Real-time attack mitigation. Advance offers real-time monitoring and attack visibility, allow business to respond quickly and take necessary actions to migrate ongoing DDoS attack. This helps reduce potential services downtime and minimize the impacts of the attack. 24 bar 7 expert support. For customer using Shield Advance, AWS provide access to a 24 bar 7 response time. This team of experts assist with identifying, analyzing, and migrating complex attacks, ensuring that you have professional supports when you need it the most. protection across AWS services. It also integrated protection across AWS services like load balancer, cloud font, Route 53, and Elastic IP addresses, ensuring that your entire AWS infrastructure is secured from DDoS threats. Layered security with AWS WAF. So, integration with AWS WAF in Shield Advance offers additional protection for the applications layer, enable business to define custom rule to block malicious traffic and prevent specific type of attacks targeted at web applications. So, these are the advantages of AWS Shield. So, let's understand how the AWS Shield will work. AWS Shield works by providing a multi-layer defense against DDoS attack on applications and services hosted on AWS. Detection of DDoS attack. AWS Shield uses advanced algorithm and machine learning to continuously monitoring traffic pattern. It detects unusual spike in traffic or patterns that resemble DDoS attacks such as a large volume of requested from a multiple users. For AWS Shield standard, the service automatically detects common low-level attacks such as sync flood, UDP reflection, and a DNS query floods. AWS Shield Advance adds more advanced detection capable of identifying large and more complex attacks targeting multiple layers of an application. Real-time migration. Once the DDoS attacks is detected, AWS Shield automatically begins migrating the attack in the real time. Shield Standard and a Shield Advance will be provided. Shield using traffic engineering to ensure that only malicious traffic is blocked while legitimate traffic is allowed through the application, minimizing the service disruptions. Integrating with AWS services. Um, with the AWS Cloud Font, Elastic Load Balancer, Route 53, and EC2. For example, CloudFront and Route 53 can absorb large volume of attack traffic globally, distributing it across multiple locations, preventing any one server from beginning over it. So, Elastic Load Balancer distributes incoming application traffic across multiple servers, ensuring that even under attack, your applications remain scalable and are functional. So, in the case of Shield Advance, so for customer using AWS Shield Advance, additional features are available that is DDoS response time, real-time metrics and reports, financial protections will be available for those cases. So, layered security with AWS WAF. For application layer protection, AWS Shield Advance integrated with the AWS WAF. It's let you create custom rule that filter out unwanted or harmful traffic at the application layer, ensuring that even more sophisticated attacks such as HTTP floods are blocked before they can affect your applications. Protective threat intelligence. Shield Advance uses global threat intelligence and machine learning to identify emerging attack patterns. The system continuously updates its protective mechanism to stay ahead of new attacks method, ensuring proactive defenses. Global coverage. Shield protects application hosted across all AWS region with the ability to handle attacks from around the world. It provides global distributed defense through Amazon CloudFront and a Route 53, which can ups traffic from different parts of the global and ensure the attacks are migrated quickly and efficiently. So traffic filtering and scaling. Shield traffic filtering can handle both small scale and a large scale DDoS attack. If the attack become too large, the system can automatically scale to absorb the traffic, keeping your application running smoothly well under the attack. By overall, in the summary, the AWS Shield work by continuously monitoring traffic, detecting DDoS attack, and migrating them in a real time using a combination of automation, traffic filtering, global infrastructures, and expert support. It ensures that your application remain available and protect from various from a DDoS attack without the need for the manual intervention, whether you are using a shield standard for basic protection or a shield advanced for more advanced customized security. So the next topic is comparison and integration of AWS WAF and AWS Shield. So the first feature here we have is a purpose. So AWS WAF is designed to protect web application from common web exploits like SQL injections, cross-site scripting, and other vulnerability. It helps block malicious web traffic before it reaches to the application. So when it's come to this, AWS Shield is a managed DDoS protection services. It safeguards AWS resources from large-scale volumetric attack that target availability and cause significant downtime. And the rule customization next feature, yes, AWS WAF allow user to create custom rule to block, allow, or count specific requests based on the factors like IP addresses, HTTP request, query string parameters, and more. So AWS Shield have no rule customization, does not allow for direct customization or attack detection or a migration methods. Shield Advanced provide enhanced DDoS detection and support, but the actual protection is automated. The next thing is pricing. So AWS WAF is a pay as you go. Charges are based on the number of web access control list and rules you create along with the amount of traffic processed. AWS Shield is free for basic DDoS protection, which is automatically applied to all AWS resources. Shield Advanced, which offers additional protections like 24 by 7 supports and cost protection during an attack, comes with the monthly fee. Use cases, OWASP top 10 protect against common web vulnerability including SQL injection, XSS, and others. Bloat filtering prevents unwanted bot traffic from reaching your application, migrating specific workflows, attacks, etc. And when it's come to its AWS Shield, it's a DDoS protection, and the attacks attempts to overwhelm resource by flooding them with traffic such as sync flood or UDP reflection attack. Application protection shield AWS hosted application from high volume of attacks. So these are the comparisons of in comparison and integration of AWS WAF and AWS Shield. So these the topics of the theoretical part. I'll be covering everything in the theoretical part. So let's move to the practical part. I'll show you the configuration, but I'm not creating anything because it's not a free of charge. It's incur the charges more. So I'll show just the demonstration how to configure those things. That's it. So let's move to the AWS account. So let's go with the AWS WAF and Shield. So see, protect your web application from common web exploits. So um, so AWS in the left side corner you can see AWS Shield get started. So see, it's a AWS Shield managed by DDoS service and provide continuous attack detection and automate migration. It offers two tiers, that is one is standard, a basic, and another one's a advanced. So per month it's charged for dollar 300 rupees. Sorry, $3,000 per month it will charges. And when you go to the WAF, so here we can see the pricing 5.0 per web application per month, and per rule it's $1 and billion per second. We can view the pricing also. So just I'll show how to configure those things. I'll not create anything here. So click on create web application firewall. So here, describe web application access control list and associate it to your AWS resources. So here we have two types of resources. That is, one is cloud distribution and another one is the load balancer. So if you have a cloud phone distribution, you can go with that option, or else you can go with the regional resources. So and you need to specify the region and you have to give the name for this one. So I'm giving the demo. So and here we need to integrate, we need to associated AWS resources. Click on add AWS resources. So here we have types of resources here that you can integrate it with the application load balancer, or you can also integrate it with the API gateways, like you have AppSync, GraphQL API, Cognito User Pool, and AWS Verified Access. So, what the resource type you want, you can select those things. So, click on next. So here, add rules and rule groups. So when you go to the add rules and add manage rules, so here you have a several methods. So when you go to the AWS manage role group, so you can see account creation, fraud prevention, and the additional fees are $10 per month. It will charges. You can see everything here. It show the charges for you like this. You can check with all those things. Mm, and when you come to the default web access control list actions to request resolve, so you can allow or you can block, or you can give the custom request also for this. So next, click on next. So and you have a set rule priority. You can also set this one, and you can configure metrics, request sampling operation, enable sample request, disable everything you have. And another thing here we have is so here you need to set the IP set also for that one. So go and create IP sets. So you can provide a name, descriptions, region, and the IP addresses, everything you need to provide. So this is how we can configure the WAF and Shield. As I already show you, its charges cost. So that's why I'm not configuring anything here. So this is about the WAF and Shield. So that's all about the AWS Web Application Firewall and AWS Shield. Thank you.